This is a tutorial video for making Paper-Hanbok. This series is for what the king and the queen used to wear in the royal palace. The king's attire is called Gon-ryong-po and the queen's attire is called 당의. The kit, you'll see these papers and you will need one of each, these 4 papers, to make the final hanbok. This is for the queen's attire, this is for the king's attire. You'll also have a background that you can mount your final hanbok onto, and this will be your finished product. You'll also need glue and scissors. We're going to make the upper attire for the queen. There's 4 components in this one sheet of paper. First, we're going to trim the white rim. Now we're gonna use the piece on the left side. This piece right here, it's going to be the vest part. So we're going to cut that part out. We're gonna start by bringing it to the back. And we're gonna lift the left top corner, and we're gonna bring it down and fold it into a triangle. Like this. We're gonna open. We're gonna do the same for the bottom. I'm gonna lift the bottom left corner up and fold it into a triangle. And once you have this triangle, we're gonna flip the white rectangle part to the back. There's also a guided line at the back that you can follow. Put this to the back. And then once you open, you'll see that there's 2 diagonal lines and 1 vertical line. And then we're going to fold against the vertical line that you made into halves. Like this, and we're gonna fold it into 4s, like this, like this, like this. So now you'll see 5 vertical lines. I just marked it with a pencil that you can see better. And now we're gonna lift the bottom part up and fold it into half again, like this, and open and fold it half again, making 4 equal horizontal rectangles. So once you fold it to that part, you'll see that there's 3 lines here and 4 lines here. And between the top and the second line, draw an imaginary line here. And we're gonna fold over to that imaginary line between the top and the second horizontal line here. And now we're gonna mark with our pencil the second vertical line here. And we're gonna mark right here and mark right here and mark right here. Part where we just folded with the imaginary line, and we're going to cut off a small triangle like this in a V shape like this. So we're gonna take our scissors and we're gonna cut. Once you cut it off, you'll have a piece looking like this. And now we're going to draw another imaginary line between the second and the third line here. So right here, this, and we're going to fold over to the second line and fold backwards towards the imaginary line. So like we are here and then we fold it over so it overlaps like this. And now we're gonna bring the left flap over, fold over, it'll fold naturally, and this side and fold like this. Here, we're gonna take the upper flap, hold both pieces together, and we're gonna fold, making a small wing-shaped triangle here. The same for the other. This up and fold over to a wing shape. And on the bottom, we're gonna lift just one flap, and you'll see that there's guided lines. We're gonna fold against the guided lines like this. The same for the right. Follow along the guided lines. Bring a flap here. And onto the part that's sticking out, we're gonna fold in, creating a small triangle like this. Also for the right side, the same thing. And then we're just gonna grab the bottom part here and fold it in, making smooth edges. The same for the right. Like this. And we flip it over. And you have the top vest part looking like this. Now we're gonna work with the other blue part to make the upper attire. So we're gonna cut off along the edge here. And we're gonna flip it over to the back. I'm gonna fold once from the bottom up in halves. And we're gonna fold into halves again. And the upper side as well, making 4 even rectangles. And open, and we're gonna do the same. Using the left corner, lifting it up, bringing it over to the right side. This. And do 4s again in halves. This. Now bring those 2 flaps, left and the right flaps together, and you'll see that there's white guided lines on the paper. We're gonna fold outwards, following the line. Like this. Do the same for the right side. Into a wing shape like this, and then we're gonna flip it over the back. It'll look like this, and we're gonna fold in the triangles that are sticking out like this, and like this. And now you'll see the first guided line that goes horizontally, and we're gonna fold along that line against the guided line in the middle. Like this, and we're going to flip it back again. And that is the finished product. We're going to leave it aside to assemble. Now we're going to continue on making the sleeve. We're going to use a bottom blue side, and we need to trim out this gray rectangle in the middle. Now we're going to flip it to the back, and we're going to lift the left top corner, and we're going to fold it downwards into a triangle. Do the same for the right. Bring the top corner down, make a triangle. Now you'll see a white guided line on both sides, and we're going to fold up along that line like this, making a small triangle. Same for this side. Fold up. And now we're going to lift the inner corner here, and we're going to fold up. And you'll see that there's a guided line on the back side that you can follow. Same for the right side, follow the guided lines on the back. So it'll look like this. And now along the edges here, we're gonna fold against this line. Fold exactly like this. And like this. There's also guided lines on the back that you can follow. So once you fold it in like this, we're going to reverse it so the wings are facing up, and we're going to fold down against the line that we just folded, like this and like this. So it looks like this. And now we're going to fold up so that it touches, it aligns the bottom. And we're going to fold down so that it goes slightly diagonal, like this. So to repeat that step, I'm going to fold up so that it aligns the bottom horizontal, and then we're going to fold slightly diagonal back down. Same for here, we're going to fold up so that it aligns the bottom, and then we're going to fold slightly diagonal so that it faces inwards. Look like this. And then we're going to fold the top part over to the back. Same for here, grab the side, fold over so that it looks like this, like this. And the last step, we're going to fold the bottom side part to the back. Fold here, just a little bit to the back, like this. Same for the right side. We're going to fold this part to the back. And there we have it. We have the sleeve, and we're going to assemble it to the upper attire pieces later on. Last but not least, on the paper, we have the collar part that we want to cut off. So with the collar, we want to follow the black guided lines and fold the top parts downward. Like this. And we're going to fold one more time, top down. Like this. And flip it to the back. We have our collar, and we're going to assemble to the top attire later on. And onto the second piece of paper for the women's attire. We're going to cut off, first of all, the rims, the white rims. we're going to need just the top portion right until the purple lines we're going to cut off. To fold the skirt, we're going to lift the right corner. We're going to fold facing the top. We're going to fold over like this into half. And we're going to do halves again into fours. Also this side. Now we're going to fold over to the first rectangle that we made like this, and we're bringing the flap forward. You'll see that there's two guided lines, the one that runs diagonally to the bottom and the one that ends midway. We're going to follow that shorter guided line and we're going to fold to the end. So it looks like this. So not the first guided line, but the shorter guided line. And we're going to fold over to the second half midway fold. And we're going to turn over and also follow the next short guideline. You can see that it starts forming the wrinkles of the skirt. And the last one, fold over to the third line and fold against the guided line as such. So you'll see four folds like this. We're going to turn it back a bit, and we're going to take the right side and we're going to fold over against the guided line at the back, the long guided line. Fold over. Line like this, and you'll see that there's another line, guided line here. I'm going to fold the top parts down like this, and we flip it over. We have the completed skirt. Now we're going to finish the last piece, the dark blue piece, which will be the ribbon. So we're going to cut off the gray areas that we don't need. And now we have this long piece band here. Flip it over to the back, and we're going to fold the bottom up. So we have a narrower band. Now we have the band folded in half like this, and now we're going to bring the left piece over to the right, folding it in half again. Like this. And then we're going to do another half with just the upper piece. So bring this over and fold this piece in half again. And now you're going to open this piece. So now we have the top piece folded into fours, and now we're going to fold over on the very closest fold that we made so that it looks like this. So it's not completely in half, it's folded 3/4. So we have a shorter piece and a longer piece. And with the shorter piece, we're going to do a diagonal fold this way so that one is sticking out diagonally like this. And with the longer, we're going to bring that piece over to where you fold it diagonally. So it looks like it's crossing over in such way. Now we're gonna flip over. Now we're gonna flip over to the back, and with the longer piece that's hanging below, we're gonna move that piece and fold it over to the top. Like this. So you'll have the longer piece that's crossing over to the top, the shorter one, and the medium length looking like this. Now we're gonna bring forward again. Now with the longer piece that's on the top, we're gonna tuck it into this knot right here. We're gonna tuck this piece in to the knot here. I'm gonna pull that piece out. That, and tighten the knot and flip it over, and there you have the ribbon for the top outer. Now we're going to assemble the queen's attire together. Now we have this piece here and the vest, and you'll see that there's two triangle flaps that we made, and this is going to go in between here, so it tucks under the left side and the right side like this, so that it fits over like this. And then we're going to fold the top over like this, so that we have the upper part like this, and now we have the arms, the sleeves that we made, and we're going to glue it. I'm just going to tape it for the tutorial purpose, but it's easier to glue and wait for it to dry. We're going to tape it over so that the sleeve goes backwards behind like this. And now we have the collar. We're going to tuck in. We're going to tuck in the collar. We're going to fold over the left side. We're going to tuck it in. And we're going to fold over the right. And instead of tucking in, we're going to just fold it to the back and hide the longer piece, so that the right one that comes over is longer and it's in front of the shirt. And now we're going to flip it to the back, and we're going to attach the skirt. Also just going to use tape. And we're going to add the ribbon onto the left side of the shirt and stick it like this. Now we're going to make the king's attire. First we need to trim the white. And in the tutorial that follows, you'll see that I'm folding with a different colored paper, but all the procedures and steps are identical, so if you follow the same steps, you'll get the same result, just in different color. Begin by flipping to the back, and we're going to lift the left corner and bring it to the right, folding it in half. And we're going to open up, and we're going to fold it in half again, making 4 rectangles. We're gonna open and we're gonna make halves again, so we have 8 equal. Now we can have 8 even rectangles, and I just drew in the line so that you guys can see clearly. You guys don't need to do this marking. Now we're gonna do the left top corner. We're gonna bring it in and fold it into a small triangle to the first line, like this. And on the right side, we're gonna make a bigger triangle, bring the corner to the second line, not the first, the second line, and make a bigger triangle. This. And now onto the right side that we just did, on the bigger triangle, we're gonna fold it in over like this, making a wing shape. And you'll see that there's guided lines on the back side in white. So you can follow that guided line and fold so that it is a winged shaped triangle like this. And the bottom flap, we're gonna just tuck it in against the first line, like this. So you have 1, 2, and 3 folded flaps here on the right side. Over the line here, we're gonna grab the right piece and we're gonna fold over like this. You can see it's starting to look like the attire, the top part. We're gonna flip it over to the back, and we're gonna do similar fold that we just did on the other side, making a wing. Bring this part in, fold this part over to the first line, like this. And we're gonna do the same for the left. And the last part, we're gonna tuck the top 2 corners on the top, just folding in into small triangle. Same for the left side. Flip it over, and that is done for the top part. Now we're going to make the pants of the king's attire. I'm going to use the bottom part. We're going to cut along the gray outline. So we have the piece for the pants. We're going to flip it over to the back. And we're going to fold the bottom to the top in half. Like this, in half. And then we're going to fold, flip it over, and then we're going to fold this piece in half as well. Then we're going to open up, and now we're going to fold these 2 flaps on the left and right up. Against the guided half line that we just folded. So we're going to fold this up like this. And we're going to bring, you can see that there's a guided line here marked white. We're going to bring the legs down against that line. Like this. And then we're going to flip it over. And we're just going to make the lines slimmer by folding in the side like this. Same for this side. Just on the side here. And also for the insides too. Just making a smaller triangle on this side. Same for the inside for this. So your bag looks like this. And once you're done, you flip it over. And you have the pants. Next, we're going to cut the belt of the king's attire. It's identical to the queen's, so you can go back and refer to the tutorial for the queen. Now we're going to proceed with the next portion of the top attire. This is the king's sleeve. First, we're going to trim the white rims. Now we're going to start folding the sleeve. So we're going to flip this over to the back. We're going to bring the left corner over to the right, folding it in half. And we're going to open up and we're going to fold in halves again, so we have 4 equal rectangles. And then we're going to fold so that there's another line between this line and the center line. So you'll see that you have these vertical lines. Now that we're going to fold the bottom piece up, and we're not going to fold to the full entire length. We're only going to fold over to the vertical lines that we've made. Once you're leaving the 2 wings open, like this. So once you open, you're going to have a folded line just to where my pencil line is here, like this. And then we're going to fold the bottom half to that half folded line. We're also going to fold just to this 2 lines, leaving the white flaps open like this. Then we're going to do the same for the top. Bring it down. And we're only going to fold to the vertical lines that we made, leaving the side wings open. So you will have these folded lines, the solid lines that I've marked with my pencil. The next step, we're going to fold so that your right line and the one next to it, and make an imaginary line in the middle, like this. I've marked it with a dotted thin line. And we're gonna fold that part backwards. If you want to draw your line, that's easier for you, you can also do that. So I fold this part backwards. We're going to do the same for the left side. I'm going to fold backwards. Like this. So you will have it looking like this. And then now that it folded backwards, we're going to tuck it in so that it looks like this. So we have the middle part that's a little bit more elevated since we made like a stair fold. So it's going to look like this. And here we're going to bring the bottom up and the top down. And don't press the side yet. So it looks like this, and we have the side flaps open since we didn't fold vertically. And here you will see that you have white guided lines on either 4 wings. And we're going to follow that line and fold down as such. You make your wing like this. You also have the white guided lines here. Fold down like this. Do the same for all 4. And the last. Once you fold all of them, it'll look like this. And now we're gonna bring the top part down. And now we have the sleeve. We're gonna put this aside to assemble to the top piece. Now here we have the belt. And also in the following tutorial, you'll see that I'm using a different color paper, but all the steps and procedures are identical. And we're gonna flip it over. We're just going to fold it in half. And that's the belt, and we're gonna put it to the side to assemble. And the collar, it's identical to the queen's, so you can go back and refer to the tutorial for the queen. Now we're gonna assemble the pieces for the king's attire. We have the collar. I grab this part, and we're gonna stick the longer bottom half in like this. And we're going to fold the left side over. And we're gonna tuck it under the shirt, and we're gonna do the same for the right side. Now fold over, and we're gonna tuck the piece inside the shirt. You can glue for more security. I'm just gonna leave it like this. Now we're gonna glue the sleeve to the back of the shirt. I'm just gonna tape it for this tutorial. You can glue and wait for it to dry, like this. And I'm gonna stick the ribbon onto the left part of the shirt, like this. And with the belt, we're gonna wrap it around the waist on top of the ribbon, this, and fold over across the area like this. And then we're gonna flip it to the back, and we're gonna attach the pants. I'm also just gonna tape it. This. And then we're gonna fold in the arms to whichever angle you prefer. This. And here is the finished look for the king. Now bring your background boards, and we're going to stick the finished king hanbok on the left side. This is Gon-ryong-po, and we're gonna stick the queen's attire onto the right side like this. And you'll get a finished product like this. This is the royal wear for the king and the queen, Gon-ryong-po and Dang-ui.